Good morning, everyone, and welcome to This Week in the Mohawk Valley. I am Ray Durso, your host, and welcome to today's show, Sunday, January 28th, 2024. Can you believe it? January 28th. This month has flown by so quickly. It seems like New Year's was just the other day. We must all be having fun because time is quickly passing us by. January 28th. If you are a football fan, today is a very big day with the conference championships. One game this afternoon, another game tomorrow night, tonight. Unfortunately, the Buffalo Bills will not be in either one of those games. My sympathies go out to the Buffalo Bills fans of our area. Certainly was a very interesting game last week, but just didn't go their way. So we wish all the teams that are playing in today's games the best. Certainly look forward to them. I believe, I've been saying this the last several years, that I believe football has become America's pastime. I believe it's past baseball because these games the last several years are just so exciting leading up to the Super Bowl, and it's nice to be able to watch it. So I hope all of you are doing well. We've had some warmer temperatures the last few days. We're getting some rain. Snow has been melting, but certainly here we are in our last weekend of January. I wish you all good health, and I thank you for tuning in to today's show. I also want to comment that I've been talking over the past several weeks about the legislative forum that was just held on Friday. It was a sellout. It was a very good event, and the focus of the event was all about the community's agenda. I congratulate and compliment all of our area elected leaders who were there talking about the community, the goals for the new year, and how we, the community, can help them, and really appreciate the great response from the community to work with our area elected officials. So on today's show, I am very honored to have as our guest today Diane Stancato, who is the CEO of the YWCA of the Mohawk Valley. Diane, good morning and welcome to the program.
Good morning, Ray. Thank you for inviting me. I appreciate it.
Appreciate you being here. So we know, for those that are involved in the community, that the YWCA has so many meaningful programs to assist women and people in our community. But today I would like you to start out by talking about probably one of your signature events throughout the year. It is the annual Salute to Outstanding Women here in our region. That'll be coming up soon. And give our listeners a little intro on what this year might be about.
Great. Thank you so much. Salute to Outstanding Women is our largest fundraiser and supports our programs. So we get all excited about Salute. And the most important piece of Salute is that we're honoring local women in the community in 8 different categories. So you would say, okay, how many years have you been doing this? 35.
Wow.
This is a big celebration, our 35th annual Salute to Outstanding Women. And after 35 years, I can tell you we still receive 60, 80, 100 nominations every year.
That's wonderful.
It's really so exciting when they start to come in, and sometimes you know the women, sometimes you've never met them, and I read through them. I'm like, wow, I'm humbled by all the wonderful things these women are doing to make our community better. So to qualify, you have to live or work in Oneida or Herkimer County. So that's a very broad area to pull from, and every year the women are so amazing, and so wait until you meet them this year. They're every year I say, wow, this is an amazing class to Salute, and it's we have over 270 women in the Salute Academy.
That is awesome. And I know what it's like to plan an event, but to keep doing one for 35 years. Yes. Do you or the committee, ask yourself each year, why do we continue doing this? What's the importance of this event to our community? Why it needs to be done every year?
Sure. Well, I think it might be the longest running fundraiser by an organization. I'm not sure, but it's one of the longest running. It also, because of our mission, Ray, our mission is empowering women and eliminating racism. And so if we're empowering women, we should be recognizing the women in our community who are doing amazing things in their everyday lives. We honor women who in education, in healthcare, in human and public service, and so on, and in STEAM, and so to be able to raise them up, to say, look at these amazing, smart, talented women who don't even think they're doing anything amazing. They're every time I call them to say, tell them who I am. And sometimes they don't even know about Salute, which always surprises me because their nominator didn't tell them they were nominating them. And they're like, why me? Like, me? I'm so surprised. But it's because we have to raise women up because they contribute in big ways to everything that we do.
Good for you. Good for you. How many people on your committee? Because that has to be a very, lot of work that goes into that.
Well, I have to say it's staff driven. So I have 2 people in development, the development director and the development associate, and they put that event together, and the communications manager. So it's a lot of work. The judges for every year, the judges that judge the nominations that come in, that usually is the previous year's honorees. So we keep them involved, and then they can see how difficult it is to choose. No one on the staff and no one on our board does any of that. That's all volunteer driven. Who choosing the honoree in each category, but I sit in on those, and it's amazing. It's amazing to hear everybody's perspective, and to listen to them work through it. And there's a ranking system, and it's it's 1 through 5. So you say it's like what based on their nomination, what do you feel their connection to the YWCA is, to the mission? So are they a 5 or are they a 1? So it's really interesting to hear that back and forth, and it never ceases to amaze me that we actually pick anyone because they're all so great. So I'm so glad that I don't have to do
That's
this.
a good problem.
Yes,
that's great. So this year's 35th annual Salute to Outstanding Women is going to be held when?
it is March 21st at noon at Harts Hill Inn.
Okay, and I'm sure it's a little early probably for registration and for details, people wanting to make a reservation yet. But what's the timeline between now and then when you'll announce the winners and then when registration will open?
So registration usually opens in February, sometime early February. And you can register. Of course, you can go right to our website, and there's links to register. And also, so I can't tell you who these women are today because it's a big secret, but we do reveal them at a cocktail party on February 8th. And the media is all invited to that, and their nominator. And that's when we announce it to everyone.
So give us, if we're not going to get names out of you today,
No.
just a little teaser then, how many women will be honored this year?
There are 7 women and 1 outstanding young woman.
There you go. So 7 women and 1 outstanding young woman.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Very good. So there's your scoop of the day. 8 basically women to be honored.
8.
And February 8th is, quote, reveal day.
Yes.
And then in February on this show, because Town Square Media is a sponsor of this event, we will have those winners and those honorees on our shows in February. So you, the listeners, will get to meet them, and you'll hear why they were chosen for these awards and to be honored, because I'm sure there's a lot of people who are doing a lot of good work. And I've been involved in these type of events. It's not easy. You're looking at a lot of, applications, nominations, and you're seeing some really nice people who do a lot of great work to help others. It's not an easy thing to choose, and so I know what goes into it.
It's really difficult. The judges, they don't realize until they do it, how difficult it is. They think, I want to do it. And then after they get their packet and they do all the work, because there's a lot of work involved, and then we come together for the final meeting to make the final decisions, they're like, wow, this was so hard. And what I do want to say to everyone, though, is if you're a nominator and you have nominated someone who hasn't been chosen, please keep nominating them. Please keep nominating. There's so many that come in, and the judges change every year. And it's just, tweak it a little, send it back in because the nomination, because have faith, because there are just so many women. Eventually, we should nominate, 25 a year or something.
Yeah, and you said that this, is one of the longest running events. I also think it's one of the largest attended events.
Yes.
I mean, that's always well attended.
I think my first year, which was 8 years ago here, we had over 500 people at Hart's Hill, standing room only in the back.
That's incredible.
Yes.
That's incredible. So
Yes.
it's important. Anything else you want to share about this event? Because I want to ask you some other questions about the work that the YWCA does.
The only thing I would say is encourage you to come to the event because it's really moving. Each woman gets like 2 minutes to come up there and talk a little bit about what it meant to her to be chosen, and it's very, very good. So we're in and out an hour and a half. We're very proud of that. Good. So please join us.
Good for you. And as it gets closer, once registration is open, we will have the honorees on. We'll be passing along that information, and people will know what to do and as far as registering. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
How long have you been with the YWCA yourself?
8.5 long years.
8.5 years.
Yes.
I am learning more and more. We're all hearing about the mental health crisis and how the problems that we're having in today's society. There's probably never a dull moment within your office because there's always someone in need. Share with our listeners a little bit about what goes on day to day, week to week, within your office, the programs that you offer to help people in the community.
Many people know that our focus is domestic violence and sexual violence crisis services. I think that if you think of the Y, the new Y, the old Y was workouts and pools and all this, but we realized when the women came before me in the 80s, realized that there was a real need to serve domestic violence victims, and they began to refocus our services in that direction. So we're all about health and safety of women and families, but we really switched gears and said, someone needs to lean into this space and do this work. And so we did do that, and that is primarily the work that we do. And how do we do that work? So we have our hotline, our 24-hour hotline. If you are in a situation where you need help, call us. And maybe you're not ready to make a move. Maybe you just want someone to talk to. Just call that number, the hotline number. And that's also the gateway into our organization. So maybe you have a place to stay, but you need permanent housing, and we can help you with that. We have grants for that. So, or maybe you are in imminent danger and you need to come into one of our shelters. So that you are protected. You might need court advocacy. Maybe you need a stay-away order. We have advocates in all the local courts. We also have case managers, for the housing programs. So we have a wraparound crisis services for women, any gender, but we primarily serve women and families, their children. We have therapy and support groups. All are very important because trauma not dealt with is trauma for a lifetime. So it's important that people work on their mental health, during and after when they go from victim to survivor. They need to really work on managing that. And so that's sort of the meat. But what people don't know is that we also do prevention education. So you will hear me say this often: to end domestic violence against women, that rests with men, because women are mostly abused by men. So if men stand up and say, I listen, this is not somewhere I want to be, I don't want to do this, or they see it happening, they know someone's doing this, and step in and say, listen, this isn't cool, this isn't right, you shouldn't be abusing your family or whatever. I know people don't want to get out of people's business, but if men stopped hurting women, we'd be out of business, right? Or we'd have to shift again and go into another way to serve women. But how do we do that? Yeah. How do we stop it? So we have to stop it with the littles. We have to get into the schools, and we have to get into these conversations with littles, with first grade, second grade, middle school. What does a healthy relationship look like? What is it to not be a bystander? right? To see something and say something. What does it mean to have real and lasting relationships that are built on trust and respect? So if you can teach that to the small ones, there's going to be less domestic violence later, because they're going to understand that maybe what they see at home or what they think is right isn't really okay. And so that's been a real focus for us, is that prevention education piece.
I have to think that there has to be a listener who knows of someone who is a victim of domestic violence or sexual assault,
Right.
or they know someone, a colleague, a family member, because unfortunately our society is being consumed with this. It's very, very unfortunate. I used to have a police scanner, and I used to listen to it quite frequently, and there would be every single week law enforcement being dispatched to a residence, and the call would say, man beating a woman. And that would be on a regular basis. And then you'd hear, sometimes in the middle, you'd hear women beating a man.
That happens.
So I'm saying, it's just so sad, though, because, it's in our schools, and people are all around us. So I think one of the most important pieces of information that you can provide this morning to our listeners is, how would someone get a hold of you, whether it's the phone number, the hotline, your website, because someone might not be, they might be apprehensive to do the hotline, but maybe they're going to start with your website. Please offer the information now, so that if someone's listening, they know how to get in touch with you via the hotline or the website.
Right. So we have a really cool new feature that we put into place on our website during COVID, because if you were at home with your abuser, you couldn't be calling us on the phone, right? They're right there with you. Yeah. So we put a text and chat option on our website. So you could be chatting on our website with an advocate, and then have a quick escape if someone came in the room. We have a quick escape button, and you can just go to ywcamv.org to find that. And our hotline number, I don't want to give you the wrong number because I don't call it all the time, but I'll check into it in a second and give it to you. But the hotline number is very important. Yeah. Going to our website is very important. Reach out. Just reach out, because all of our services are free and confidential, and we will not call you back. We will keep you safe. That's why there's that quick escape button. Right. It's like, we're not going to call you back. We're just going to talk to you. We're going to talk to you. We're not going to force you to do anything. We're going to help you build a safety plan. So a safety plan starts with, are you safe right now? Do we need to call 911? Right? So that's how we start. The second thing we do is once we establish that, then we say, okay, so the abuse that you suffer, is there a pattern? Sometimes there's a pattern, right? So it's Thursday nights after, my partner goes to drinking or whatever. So there's usually a pattern. So we say, okay, try to avoid those situations until we help you figure this out and get you safe. We help them build a safety kit. So if you have to go, what do you have to take with you? You need your passport, your driver's license, your birth certificate, things that you may never get back out of the house, right? So you have to have like a go bag. So we help people through that. So if you have to be able to grab it and go. Okay. Right? So these are things that we will help you work on the hotline or even on the chat line. And the hotline number is 315-797-7740.
Very simple to remember.
Yes.
All right. See something, say something, not just with packages, but with life experiences as well. And that's what our role can be, to help educate and share this information for people. So the YWCA of the Mohawk Valley, yes, they're going to have their Salute to Outstanding Women on March 22nd, and we will have more information throughout the month of February. We'll meet the 8 honorees, and we'll have information on how you can register or attend. But more importantly, contact the YWCA if you know of someone who is in need of any type of service, because that's what they're there for. So Diane,
100%.
Diane, I really appreciate you being here today. This is very, very informative information to pass along to the community. Thank you for that, and thank you for yourself and all of your staff and the work that you do to help others in our community.
Thank you for raising it up for us.
No problem.
We appreciate it.
Thank you. And that's what this show is for. This Week in the Mohawk Valley, here to inform and to educate our community. Thanks, Diane. We'll have you back in the future.
Look forward to it.
Good luck with another successful salute.
See you there.
And I thank all of you, our listeners, for tuning in today, This Week in the Mohawk Valley. Enjoy the day. Enjoy the NFL games later today. Have a great week, and we'll be back next week with another new show. Thank you. Enjoy your day, everybody.